welcome to Getting to Good Enough. I'm Shannon Wilkinson.
And I'm Janine Adams. We're here for practical and fun conversations about living with more ease and way less stress.
Yep, we're all about embracing progress over perfection. So grab a tasty beverage and let's get started. Hey, Janine.
Hey, Shannon, how you doing?
I'm doing pretty well. How are you?
Good. I'm doing well. Thank you. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. I know I realized that we did not wish each other a Happy New Year in our previous two episodes, which have appeared in the new year.
Right. Well, we're living in the present, not the future. Right. But you know what just occurred to me is you and I met in person in 2001, which means that this is their 25th anniversary of our friendship.
Oh,
that's pretty nice.
That is really nice.
Yeah.
I hadn't realized that. That makes me really happy.
Oh, no, I hadn't either till just this moment. So, yay.
Oh.
It's our silver anniversary, Shannon.
Well, we'll have to celebrate. Maybe we could get matching silver charms or something.
Yeah, there we go. Little bracelets.
Well, I have been thinking a lot about 2026 and what I want it to look like, because I feel like 2025 ended in a blur for me.
With the shoulder surgery and trying to recover and keep life going, that kind of thing?
Yes. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I was sort of reflecting back on the year, and I'm glad I did that because I realized that a lot happened before that, but that has sort of eclipsed all of it. So I'm thinking about what do I want 2026 to look like? How do I want to move through the year? And one of my favorite ways to do that, and I know is yours too, is to pick a word of the year.
Yes.
And I think that when you recently shared it with me, I can't remember if I actually said this or I just said it in my head, but that I was feeling like if I picked a word of the year in the last couple of weeks, it would have been like survive or something.
You did actually say that to me in a text. Yeah. And that's not a great word of the year.
No, it does. That does not feel good.
Right.
So I sort of wanted to come at it from a different angle, and I did. And I'm going to live with it for a couple of days and see how it goes. But I think my word of the year is going to be choose.
Nice. And that will encourage you to what?
To actively make decisions. I mean, I feel like it is a little bit response to the last few months of my life, in that where I felt like I sort of didn't get to actively decide things, that I was just sort of responding to situations. The meaning or the feeling behind it is to choose purposefully, to make choices, to make decisions, to choose how I want to spend my time, to choose what I want to spend my time on, to recognize that so often I have the ability to choose.
Yeah.
And so often I have been just sort of swept along in my life as opposed to being more proactive in it, I guess.
Right. That's what I was just thinking. It's more like, it's like you're going to be proactive rather than reactive.
Yes.
Although I do not like the word proactive because it feels
Neither
fake.
do I.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It does come in handy sometimes. So that's great. I look forward to hearing whether that you stick with that after you've lived with it for a little while. But I think that sounds like a good choice. You chose well.
I see what you did there. But it can be really hard to make a decision for me, especially in a situation. I mean, it sort of seems like not that big a deal, even though it has a potential impact on your entire year if you sort of follow through with it. Yeah. So it can be very impactful. And as a person who tends to be an optimizer in my decision making, I not infrequently have a little buyer's remorse after making a decision.
Do you feel it wasn't the best decision?
As an optimizer, I always want to make the best possible decision. I want to, I guess the term I really want is, as a maximizer, I want the best possible decision. So I want to maximize the results. I want the most bang for my buck with my decisions, as opposed to being a satisficer where I might pick, the few criteria that matter to me and then make a decision based on that.
Right. I'm 100% a satisficer myself, right?
Yes.
Like, I don't like having all
the options.
That's very
much a good enough thing.
Yes. I don't like doing the research. If I can pick a few criteria and it meets it, move on. Yeah. So I make many decisions pretty quickly if I have few options. Right. So that leads to speed. Whereas if you're an optimizer or a maximizer and you want all the options to consider all of them, I could imagine how that makes decision making lengthy. Yeah. Potentially. Yeah.
Yeah. You can get into thinking about it from all these different angles and all these possible ways, so that then you're not making a decision at all.
Right. Oh, yeah. And I know that when there's too many options, it happened to me yesterday. I forget what I was trying to order on Amazon, perhaps. And I just gave up because there were just too many. Yeah. It's like walked away from it. It was something obviously very low consequence, since I don't remember what it was. But it's so easy to not make a decision instead of making one when you get overwhelmed that way. Yeah. So choosing a word of the year for me, it's always, it pops into my head almost always. It's something that comes to me quickly. But as a maximizer, it must be a harder endeavor.
Yeah. It feels very consequential.
Oh, yeah.
And so I don't want to make a mistake. And I want to find the perfect word.
Right. As though if you picked the wrong word, it would wreck your year, rather than you're just ignoring it. I mean, you're not going to pick the wrong year and then keep going just because you picked it. Keep living by it just because you picked it.
I know. The whole thing is absurd.
Yeah. How interesting. Have you ever gone back and looked? I have a list somewhere of my words of the year I think I've been doing it for, 15 years or something. And I look at my words, and some of them were clear fails. Like, what was I thinking?
No, but I do remember that I think it was 2019 leading into 2020, that basically all of the things that I wanted to orient my year around became impossible.
Yeah.
With the COVID pandemic.
Yeah. Yeah, I do remember that about your year as well. Oh my God.
It was pretty much everything that I wanted to do in 2020.
Yeah. Yeah, right. Yeah, you had to flex a lot that year. Yeah. As we all did. Yeah. Well, I've been dealing with choosing all day today. I take a personal retreat every year. That's when I choose my word of the year and when I set my goals and stuff. And that was December 26th. And that day it just popped in my head when I was preparing for the day. I thought, I need to think about my blog, Organize Your Family History, which I haven't really been doing much with. And then it popped into my head, maybe you should retire it. I'd never thought about it. And so when I went to float, and when I just started thinking about it, I decided that day that I would retire it. I talked to my AI helper and decided there was no point in delaying it. So I set about to announce it. And then I put my downloadable guides on sale because I'm retiring them too. So midnight yesterday, that was when it was over. So this morning I set out to do what I had to do to make sure it didn't look like I was giving a half price off retirement sale and then still selling them. Right. So, and that led to all these questions, these choices I had to make. Do I get rid of the website entirely? No, I'd already decided I was going to keep the blog going, but I just wasn't going to add to it. So people could still, I mean, it's genealogy organizing, so it's not like it's topical. People could still get benefit from it. And
there's a lot of evergreen topics there.
Right. And then I had to decide about the email list that I have and that I pay for. And do I archive it? Do I delete it? Just series of questions that started to overwhelm me. I also had a deadline today of deciding about whether or not I wanted to go to a workshop. So I had to decide about that too. And in those cases, most of them, what I did was in my bullet journal, just write it down, like just write down pros and cons of the workshop, for example. It's kind of expensive. And it didn't resonate with my word of the year, which was enjoy, because I didn't think I would really enjoy it, but I would probably benefit from it. Anyway, I decided not to do it or not to register. Decided not to register today anyway. And I have a feeling it might sell out. So today I had to decide. But so writing stuff down can be helpful. And I talked to my AI helper a little bit, who just gave me some pros and cons. And then I started to talk to you about it because I turn to you for all things. And you said, hey, maybe we should talk about it on the podcast, talk about this topic of choosing. Like, yeah. So I feel like my word of the day is choose. I'll leave it to you to have it for the word of the year, because it feels like a lot today. But I do think the idea that you want to center your year around making conscious decisions rather than being passive is fantastic.
Yeah. I feel enlivened by that. Like I feel good about it. And I know that I'm going to have to remember all my decision-making skills in order to live it. I've come up with some ways of making decisions more like a satisficer than a maximizer. And just remembering that when I get sort of tripped up or in advance, like when I know that that I'm making a choice, that there's a decision to be made, to put those things in place, which primarily is, why does this matter to me? What am I hoping to gain by making this decision? And then what criteria am I trying to meet? And that sort of differs depending on what I'm making a decision about. It's very different if it's trying to buy an item, but still I can do like what you just described, where I can get lost in this rabbit hole of options and then just not do anything. And the antidote to that for me is to choose up to 3 things to base my decision on. What are the 3 things I need this to do? And then find the thing that meets those and stop there. Like I don't have to find the best one that meets those. I just have to find one that meets those.
Yeah. So you're saying that if you find one and it meets all their checks the boxes, you'll stop the search and just get that or go with that.
Well, I'm saying that's the ideal scenario.
I see. Okay.
Because I do like my flexibility, so I don't want to lock myself into saying that I will stop at one. But I'm not going to endlessly research. I can find a maximum, again, like 3 is sort of a magical number, I think, in these things of like, look at 3 different things and then maybe find 3 products that meet those things. Or if it's difficult to find 3, I can stop at 1. Like that's legitimate. And if it's a fairly inconsequential purchase, I can just stop at 1. And as soon as I find one that meets all the criteria, just get it. I don't want to waste time and energy anymore on inconsequential decisions in many cases.
Yeah. And like Amazon makes it so hard. For example, yesterday I was shopping for cotton and linen cloth because I'm starting a new hobby. And I found what I was going to buy. And then it presented like 10 different options that were up to buy the same thing, essentially.
Right.
Pieces of cotton. I mean, there
Right.
couldn't be much different.
Yeah.
So I went with I think I went with
no.
the original. Stop it. I know this is what I want. That magical number 3, I love, because you're right. You can apply it to the number of options, the number of criteria, and it's an odd number, which is always nice. And it's limiting. And for me anyway, limiting is, yeah. But you mentioned something about flexibility. Where does flexibility fit into your decision making?
Well, that's where I think the 3 gives me some flexibility, or the feeling of flexibility. Like if it's just, I take the first one, then I start to feel constricted by that.
Yeah.
Or maybe if I'm looking for only the thing that meets this one criteria, then I'm like, yeah, but there's all these other things and I'm missing out on those. And, that becomes a whole thing. So I feel like that provides some flexibility. But I don't want to use flexibility as a crutch, I guess. Like I don't want to have a lot of just in case things come into play.
Right.
I have a tendency to save things just in case.
Right. That's what I'm coming up against with my decision making around organize your family history. Like it's very permanent to delete. If I deleted my email list, it would be gone forever. But I have the opportunity to archive it, which is a little more labor intensive, but I would have the flexibility to use it again. And I think that makes some sense. But when I think about some of my organizing clients who have a lot of clutter and they're keeping stuff just in case, then they either can't find it when they want it, or it's contributing to the clutter problem. So I kind of bristle against that. Although, and now like just yesterday, I was wondering whether I had a certain thing. It's like a craft item. And I we didn't even look for it because I'm like, you would never have moved that because you weren't doing that craft then. And so I'm sure I don't have it and I'm surviving. Right?
Yeah.
Like the just in case happened, like I could use it now, but it's not the end of the world. And I would have paid somebody to move it and probably pack it, unpack it, and move it. And then, it's pack, move, and unpack if I had kept it. So,
and well, probably what would have happened is you would have paid someone to pack it, move it, unpack it, and then realized you didn't have room for it and gotten rid of it.
Right. And,
and then you would still be without
where
it.
I am. Right. Exactly. It's so true. That's it's a good thing and a bad thing about living in a smaller space. I know where everything is, but I don't have room for everything. So I have to make some tough choices to let go of stuff. Luckily, the stuff I'm talking about is really non-consequential. But so choosing is tough.
But it creates a lot of freedom.
Ooh, after you've made the choice.
Yeah. So making a choice allows you to put your energy towards other things. Like, if you're caught in this place of feeling like you need to make a decision all the time, that takes a certain amount of energy, and not making that decision takes a certain amount of energy because you're thinking about it.
Right.
And so making a decision, choosing, allows you to get on with your life.
Right. And sometimes not making a decision is making a decision, right? Because either because things 100%. Expire or or go bad or you're letting the decision be made for you. And it's, I think, more helpful to be proactive in that decision making.
Yeah, I'm sometimes guilty of that when there's something I decide that I need and I go on Amazon and find a bazillion options and get all tripped up and fall over and then just leave it and don't get anything. And then I will sometimes just say, oh, well, if I think about it again, then it's important to me. I'll come back to it.
I do that sometimes.
I do feel like that leaves these kind of open loops that even if you aren't actively thinking about them, they are kind of drawing energy. It's like,
I feel like if I put something in my Amazon cart and then I move it to save for later because I can't decide. And then I forget about it. Like, in fact, it'd be pretty hilarious to look at my save for laters because they're probably from the last 20 years.
It's the infinite list.
Yeah, exactly. So I definitely hear what you're saying, that it can be easier to just make the decision and move on. Get it out of your head. I will feel good by the end of the day today when I make all my blog related decisions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And some of those decisions that you're making that do have future consequences, if you delete your list, you can never get it back. And you are feeling pretty certain about wanting to retire, organize your family history right now. But there are ways that you can give yourself some flexibility that don't involve a decision now, but give you flexibility. So you could archive the list. You could decide that you'll spend up to a certain amount of money a year to sort of maintain the assets for a certain period of time, 2 or 3 years or whatever. And then at that point, if it has no draw to you anymore, if you aren't interested in going back to it, you can let it go. I mean, it's sort of like with this podcast.
Well, right. Yeah. We decided we were done, but we didn't close it up.
Right.
And then we resurrected it.
We did, which I'm super glad we did.
Yeah.
And it was relatively easy to do because we had, in essence, left everything as it was, but didn't have to actively manage it. And making that decision, then we were able to not feel like we had to put any energy towards it in the intervening 2 years.
Right. Yeah. That's helpful. That really helps me in my decision making around organize your family history as well. That reminder that we left the content there, and it didn't really give us any trouble, right?
No, not only did it not give us any trouble, but people continued to actively listen to it during those 2 years.
That's helpful. Yeah. So leaving some flexibility in place that isn't expensive or laborious, and also isn't that, I want to say, hanging chad, that loose end, open loop. It's not going to be hanging around. Especially, I'll probably write a note somewhere to revisit it in X amount of time.
Yeah. And I think that making a decision for now with a particular time frame in mind, then you don't have to think about it for 2 years. I mean, and if in the intervening 2 years you're like, I really missed that, I want to go back to it, you can, but you don't have to put any energy, effort, labor into it in those intervening years. And then you kind of have a clean slate and you come back to it and you're like, oh, this really does matter to me, I want to go back to it. Or you're like, you know what? This does not speak to me anymore. I'm ready to let it go completely.
Yeah. Yeah. That sounds great. I think you helped me make that decision, Shannon. Thank you.
Yay. Well, we would love to hear from you, our listeners. How do you choose to move through your life? What decisions do you have to make in 2026? You can let us know on Facebook, Instagram, or YouTube at Getting to Good Enough. Or you could give us a call at 413-424-GTGE. That's 4843. You raised your eyebrows. Is there more?
No. No. No, you did great. Keep going.
For now, this is Shannon Wilkinson in Portland, Oregon.
And Janine Adams in St. Louis, Missouri.
And we hope that good enough is getting easier for you. Thanks for joining us on Getting to Good Enough. We hope you heard something that makes your life just a little bit easier. If you did, leave us a review or share this with someone who's looking for their own version of good enough.
Thanks for listening. See you soon.
You can leave us a message at 413-424 4843 GTGE. Oh my God, I'm doing that over again. Or you can leave us a message at 424 4. Oh my
413.
God.
It starts with 413.
Take 3. It's not getting easier for me. Clearly,
that was difficult, huh?
Yeah, that was difficult.